Hello friend, in today's video we will be making Dad's Goodie Ring cookies, gluten-free. If that's something you want to see, then do not adjust your screen. Alrighty, so this is different than my regular recipe, which is building off someone else's. I looked up other people's copycat versions of this and they didn't look right. Half of them were unbaked, none of them looked really good. So I looked at the actual recipe, at the actual ingredients, and built from there. And I did a couple of small test batches yesterday, which is why everything is measured in tablespoons and teaspoons, because I just kind of built up from there. But so I did a couple test batches, and the only thing wrong with the last one I made was we wanted more raisin, less cinnamon. So we have our product to make. I will of course write the actual recipe down below. First thing you're going to do before you start to bake though is you're going to take about, I think I did 2 cups and that makes extra, but so a 1-to-2 ratio of unsweetened coconut and rolled oats, and you're just going to pulse them in a food processor. You don't want them to be fine, like it should still have
texture.
Come around and literally show.
Super.
Should still have texture to it, just not all the texture, because it has the bite to it but not hunks of oats in it.
Yeah.
And while you're doing that, you're going to steep raisins. I have it written down there. I think it was 1.5 cups of raisins, and about 2 tablespoons of hot water.
Yep. And
then you're going to pulse and blend those to make your raisin paste, because that's the secret ingredient. So for this batch, I have 1/2 cup of raisin paste, which is also 14 teaspoons. Or no, 14 teaspoons was the 1/4 cup. I want to do 1/2 cup. So yes. Math. I did double check the math and wrote it down. I double checked, I triple checked. Math is not my strong suit. I then have 4 teaspoons of corn syrup, golden corn syrup. There is a slight taste difference. The golden has that little bit more caramel than the clear corn syrup.
The light
corn syrup. And then 6 teaspoons of shortening. I have the golden shortening. I don't normally use shortening, but you want it instead of butter in this. We'll also use it in the chocolate coating. And 7 tablespoons of softened peanut butter. Just pop it in the microwave for 30 seconds. It's just to help it mix. You will not mix this with a beater. You do not want to add air to this. They are supposed to be like a dense fudgy cookie, but without the fudge. Because when they were made, they weren't gluten-free, and they don't even make them anymore.
I know, that's just
so
sad.
You know, gotta make them. Because people miss them. People being, well, I miss them. I was the one who was like, oh hey, what about Dad's cookies? I haven't seen those in a long time.
When you say Dad, you mean actually
the brand. Yeah, sorry.
The
Goodie
rings.
The Goodie rings, yeah, they still have like the cookies, but they don't make the Goodie rings anymore. Maybe they do in the States, but we certainly don't have them in Canada.
And they certainly weren't gluten-free.
And they certainly were not gluten-free, yep. So you do want to make sure you cream it really well. But the warm peanut butter will help melt the shortening a little bit without actually melting it and then making it too liquidy where it's not the right texture for shaping.
And you know what else will help you cream that? Not using a spoon.
No. People will, and it says in recipes to use a wooden spoon to cream things. I'm like,
but
no.
they'll use a metal spoon. And
Yeah.
I'm like, A, you can't scrape, you can't blend, you can't...
Or you just hear that awful metal sound I don't
scrape,
like.
Scrape.
Scrape should be with a spatula, not with the sound of a metal spoon. I don't like the sound of metal scraping. It hurts my brain. My brain. Alrighty. I think we're almost there. It would be easier if you could mix it, but it's a labor of love. Same with measuring everything out in teaspoons and tablespoons. You know, it takes a couple extra minutes, but makes the product. All right. Then I have 6 tablespoons of gluten free flour, 12 tablespoons of our coconut and oat mixture, half a teaspoon of salt, 3/4 teaspoon baking soda, and 1/8 teaspoon of cinnamon. Cinnamon will pick up, but it's just, it enhances the peanut butter.
Mm-hmm.
So you do definitely want it, you just don't want a lot of it. And then you're gonna mix it. All right. And if you do find that it's really dry, you just add a teaspoon of, or a splash of milk, not necessarily a teaspoon. So I will quickly go and grab that, because you don't want it to be too dry. The raisins will help keep it undry or schwumpy when you bake it, but even when you're mixing it, you want to make sure that you don't have it too dry but not too wet where then you
So
can't
to be able
form.
to shape it, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you don't want to shape it, you don't have to shape it, but if you're going to make them, you might as well make them look right.
As bright as possible.
Yeah. We're not scientists. We're not going to sit there and measure them all perfectly. I measured this perfectly. That's as far as I go for measuring. All right. Do a teeny splash more milk. So probably not more than a teaspoon of milk.
You don't want it too wet.
No. You just want to make sure that it's well bound. That's my consistency. So it shouldn't really be like a dough consistency because dough is too firm. It should be like a softer than dough consistency. And then I'm just going to wet my hands with a little bit of water. And my oven is preheated to 350 convection. I have a silicone mat. And then I actually found the easiest way to shape them is to roll them into a dough and then kind of spread them apart. Because I was doing
Into a ball.
Into a ball, sorry. Roll them into a dough. Into a ball, spread them apart, and then flatten them. I was doing the roll them out and then shape them, and then they kind of fell apart, and I was like, oh no, I need to make it a sturdier dough, and then they were crunchy. So this way is your easiest way. For your shape. So I will shape these and pop them in for 8 minutes. Watch your time and watch your cookie. And then afterwards, let them cool. Then pop them in the freezer and we will come back for the chocolate. So I didn't film dipping them in the chocolate. Also, it's been like a week since I actually made them. Which is good because the longer they sit in the fridge, the softer they get. I'll write down below, but it's about half shortening to 2 chocolate. But you do want the shortening in there for the flavor and for the softness of the kind of snap. And the longer you leave them in the fridge, the softer and chewier they
The more
get.
they actually taste like
The dad's
Goodie
Goodie
rings.
rings.
Yeah.
So I'll take, of course, pretty pictures for the picture, but they are, let's come around. Whoop. They have the, can you see it?
They're almost better. Yes, I guess. They're almost better than Dad's Goodie rings because they have a little more heft to
Substance?
them. I mean, you could probably do regular flour if you weren't gluten
Yeah.
free. But
You could
yes,
do
they
regular.
turned out very.
They're not too sweet. They're that perfect
No,
chewy, the right amount of chocolate. That's why you have the shortening, so it's a thin layer. You don't want a thick layer of chocolate because that's not what you're going for on this.
Nope.
They turned out great. I will write down my original recipe down below. Till next time, stay caffeinated, stay cozy.